We're back with another edition of Kelsey's Corner with Arizona State softball player Kelsey Hall. Kelsey, you have had a busy last couple days, obviously a busy last weekend with the Littlewood Classic, and it doesn't stop. You guys have like 1 million games on deck.
Probably like 1,000,001 if you're counting, but
there you go.
The games are the fun part. So that's what we keep saying is this is the fun stuff. This isn't, we're not practicing. We're not playing against each other. So that's a blessing.
Absolutely. You guys had a doubleheader on Wednesday against UTEP. Two very different games. The first one obviously being a little bit more of a high score. 13-12, you guys came out on top. Just how did you feel that you guys performed really as a unit throughout that game?
Yeah, well, I'll just say in the top of the seventh that my heart rate was going a little bit once the grand slam was hit. I was like, because going into it, obviously a 5-run lead is a pretty nice feeling to have, but that was a testament to us. I think going back to, we talked about it last time, the Northwestern game, just we weren't able to pull through a close game like that. And then even going into the next game, it just shows that we're building a lot more of like grittiness in the way of no one is going to come beat us on our field. So it was a really nice feeling. Something that we've been talking about a lot is once we score, continuing to score every inning and applying that pressure and continuously trying to build that no one is going to have a chance to come back. So even though they almost did,
Heart was racing.
Yeah, heart was racing a little bit. And then I don't know if you saw in the last, I had a diving catch in the last out, and that ball got smoked at me, and I was like, Kelsey, you better catch this ball.
Sports Center top 10?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Sports Center top 10?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen the video. It felt like a Sports Center top 10, but it might not have looked like a Sports Center top 10.
Just you in the moment.
Exactly.
And then obviously the 13-12 victory in the first game, and then you move over. You got Scholled on the mound for the second one. You guys beat UTEP 3-0. That one similar in terms of it just being a, like, I don't want to say a back and forth, but it was a tight game. Really, it was 1-0 for the majority of the game until there was a double at the wall, brought in 2 runs, and then from that moment on, you guys really were able to keep things going. For you, like, to separate yourself looking at the 13-12 game and then the 3-0 game, what do you think you learned the most about your team? I guess just from yesterday's doubleheader alone.
I really respected the fact that, first off, Mackenzie McFarland, the one that came in and hit the 2-run double, she was on the bench. Mm-hmm. And she came in and pinch hit and showed up, and that just shows that we do have a lot of depth on this team. And I think it showed that we are going to stay resilient no matter what the score is. We're continuing to at least build that. And I think something that we talked about the first game, surprise or not, was that the post-game talk was a little bit of like, we need to be better in that 13-12 run game versus the 3-0. They were like, this is a game that you guys continue to fight, and it was a cleaner game. And so it just shows that we're not necessarily, big runs. Like, we're looking to play the game right.
Yeah.
I think that's what I learned, is definitely that the foundation of what we're doing is we don't necessarily care who's on the other side, how the game results, but how we're playing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you guys have now, 11 games under your belt. You brought up the fact that you do have a bunch of games left really just throughout this weekend. I mean, obviously non-conference play, conference play. I feel like at the start of softball season is always like just a reminder of how many games that there are for you guys baseball. It really is such a different sport than I feel like a lot of the other athletic programs at Arizona State. So kind of zooming out from this weekend, just taking a look at all of, I guess, the entire plate of games that you guys have. Like, what does it take, do you feel like, for you to be successful game after game after game? Like, is it like you've got your adrenaline running and it's just something that continues throughout the weekend, or is it like a game by game basis?
Well, what we talk about, something that Coach K says is happy opening day. He literally sent the text. He was up at like 6 a.m. And every game he wants us to treat it like it's opening day. The emotions and the excitement, what happened in the last game, don't remember. So I think at the end of the day, let's be honest, there isn't as much adrenaline game 1 as there is going to be game 8, most likely. That's just mentally like impossible.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is focusing in on one pitch at a time, winning it, and then the progressive picture will come about. But I think if we're just basing it off of energy and everything, we're going to be screwed probably. But I think the more that we continue to build off of the little things and celebrate the little wins, it's going to come out to a better, bigger picture.
Yeah. Do you almost, and I know, I mean, you and everybody else, you've got so much confidence in your team, in your teammates, and your coaching staff. Does it almost give you a little bit more confidence getting back to just the games on Wednesday to be able to win a game where the bats are clicking and it is a high scoring affair, and then the very next game, just a few hours later, to win one where it is only a 3-0 game?
Yeah, I think the first game, it was more of a hitting game, and then pitching showed up in the second game. So that just shows that this team isn't one that's like, if their bats aren't going, you got the win, if that makes sense. So it's making me feel very good that this team wants to show up. No matter the circumstances, we're going to get it done.
Does it almost not does it feel weird, but is it a little bit of a learning curve for you? Because you've been on different teams, you've been in different conferences, but for you to be a transfer now at Arizona State, it does feel like you are stepping into far more of a leadership role off the field. And I mean, on the field, like, you lead the team in batting average, you've got the most hits on the team. Like, do you feel any sort of pressure that comes with that? And do you embrace it? Are you like looking to like advance it in a way? Just how do you deal with, I guess, the pressure of being a leader as a transfer on this team?
I wouldn't say it's pressure, considering this team is so easy to so-called lead, right? Mm-hmm. Because what we talk about is everyone has leadership qualities. I might be a more vocal leader. I might be someone where my role is to do ABC, but that doesn't mean I'm in charge of XYZ. There's someone that Mackenzie McFarland broke her nose in 2 different places, and she's still showing up. And when her name's called, she shows up. Her leadership quality is toughness, if that makes sense. So something that we talk about is everyone has a job to play, and some might be a little more outspoken than others. But I definitely think another thing that's really cool about this team is it's pretty much new all around.
Yeah.
There's so many transfers. There's a good amount of freshmen. So everyone obviously coming in as a 5th year, having a personality that's definitely a lot louder one. You would think that it could be not necessarily welcomed, but this team was so amazing, open arms, and they didn't want a repeat of what happened last year.
Yeah.
Right. So anything that the transfers could bring perspective-wise and leadership-wise, everyone was like, yes, please. We want this. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. You with a loud personality? No way.
What? That's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Look, you brought up kind of the post-game speech, whether that be from Coach B or any of the other coaches the other day, just in terms of like, okay, yes, we got the dub, but we need to tighten things up. I think for you, you've had other coaches. Obviously, everybody on this team, I guess, has had a separate coach at another point. But for you, being a 5th year at the college level, like we said earlier, you do have a significant amount of games now under your belt. Like, what have you learned the most, I guess, about Coach B, like that you maybe didn't see in practice because it wasn't a game, and now that you've gotten all of those games played, maybe there is a little bit of a difference?
I think something that I've learned from this coaching staff is they're really big on playing the game right. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is no matter what happens on the field, they're focused on what's happening in-house and how we're playing the game, because they don't want us to be result-oriented in the way of, because we can't control what the umpire does. We can't control what the other team does. We can't control a lot of things. But their main focus right now is our mental belief in ourselves. And that's something for me that I don't think I've necessarily had a coaching staff harp on so much. And I think maybe this is because this team is finding our identity, but the coaches are really instilling in us that they believe in us so much that it's on us at this point to believe in ourselves. And so I think because we're getting that standard like raised every single day, because we are showing bits that we can do everything the way that we know we can. I think that's what surprised me the most about coming to this team, is that it's so focused on us versus outside factors.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for you guys, obviously the start of the season, so many home games at Club Farrington, you really start to be able to build that environment and that culture, because I do feel like it is a year in, year out basis. Like the team has to almost connect with the fan base over again, just because, like you said, there are so many new players on this team, only year 2 of Coach Bartlett. Like now that you've played so many games at Club Farrington, obviously you guys love being home. Are you almost excited though for the point when you get to go on a road trip with these girls?
Yeah, I think that is where you build a lot of your memories. So for me, like at Boise, every game we had was on the road until late March, which yeah, it was brutal. It was definitely the travel schedule, but so I'm used to that. I'm used to the bus trips. I'm used to the hotel rooms and all that stuff. And I think that's a lot of core development. So I think that'll be really exciting. And it's also exciting to go step on someone else's field with that edge and that chip on your shoulder that I'm going to come into your house. And so I think that will be really exciting. And I'm really excited to see what we do, because I personally haven't been on the road at all. I wasn't here when we played at GCU. So I'm excited to see how we step into a new environment and we show up. It'll be exciting.
It definitely is. Look, I know there's a lot of people really excited for just kind of what you guys have already done this season. Like we said, you look back at those 2 games yesterday, kind of looking ahead, got a game today, got multiple games throughout the weekend. What would your message to Sun Devil Nation be just in terms of getting them out there ahead of a jam-packed weekend at Club Farrington?
This is going to be a weekend with a lot of great teams and even better softball. We're only focused on Texas State right now, so show up tonight. It's going to be a great game. They're a great team. They're gritty. They're fun to play against. So it'll be a good game. So you got to show up.
Should definitely be a good time. Like we said, I know Sun Devil Nation is definitely excited. Kelsey Hall, another edition of Kelsey's Corner. Best of luck not only today,